Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This year should be a special schus from Rosh Yud Ben Peshadina. Should have bracha v'hatzlacha b'chol maaseh yodav. We're going to be discussing b'siyata d'shmaya the gather of the mitzvahs Pidyon Haben, and we want to understand whether Pidyon Haben is a piron chov. It is paying one's monetary obligation of the 5 slime to the kohen, or alternatively, it is a matana. It's a gift to the kohen, but it's not. The gather is not piron chov. It's the scene of the Kohen. The Ktsos HaChoshen and Simon Reish Mem Gimel Sif Cotton Dalit brings the sheet of the Pri Chodesh. That respect to Pidyon Haben, we know that normally we have a question: can one give something Bal Korcho? Can you force somebody to accept, let's say, Kiddushin? Can you force a woman to accept Kiddushin? She's not interested in marrying you. You're not her Prince Charming. She's got another Prince Charming in mind. You give her the money. Can you force her? Niet. Excuse me, I like to throw in Russian. My Russian roots, even though I was never in Russia, nor were my ancestors, to the best of my knowledge. Although I was very happy in 1980 when the United States hockey team beat Russia. And Al McGuire cried out, "Do you believe in miracles?" "Yes!" And then Michael Ruzioni and the Ganze Chevra, they all started dancing together in Mamish Tahora because they beat the Russians in hockey. And I think that was the semifinals, and the finals, I think they beat Finland. That's Russia. Oh, I got onto that because I said Niet. Akopana by Kiddushin, it doesn't work. But by Pidyon Haben, it works. Nesina Bal Korcha Shema Nesina. Can force the Kohen to accept a 5 slime. This explains the Ktsos that you see that Pidyon Haben is a Priyas Chov. And Priyas Chov, Bal Korcho Shema Piron. If I owe somebody money, Lo Alai V'Lo Aleichem, and I pay him back, which is a mitzvah, Priyas Bal Chov mitzvah, you can pay him back Bal Korcho. He says, I don't want to accept it. He's sorry, Charlie. Putting the money in your account, whether you like it or not. Priyas Bal Priyas Choiv Bal Korcho Shema Priya Piroin. It works. Here also it works. So one can forcibly give the 5 slime. So you see from this that the gather of Pidyon Haben is Priyas Chov. And therefore, Nesina Bal Korcho Shema Nesina. Just like by a loiv and a malveh. Frektik tzais that we see from Tosis and Kiddushin, very short Tosis over there, and Davches, that by Pidyon Haben you need the smichas das of the Kohen. You need that the Kohen should know that this is worth 5 slime. We see in the sugya there. So you need smichas das of the Kohen. But why would you care about the smichas das of the Kohen? That you have the Kohen's das, that this is worth what you say it's worth. If Nesina Bal Korcho Shema Nesina, what do we need his das for? So we have a stira. On one hand, we have that Nesina is Bal Korcho Shema Nesina. On the other hand, you need the smichus das of the Kohen, which implies that you need the Kohen's das. So which one is it? That he needs to know that it's worth the 5 slime that it's purported to be worth. He has to trust. Yeah, he has to trust it. He has to have smichus das. So do you need the das of the Kohen or not? Stira. Rebbe Elchonon, the real Rebbe Elchonon, is a little bit of an imposter walking around. I don't want to say who it is, but I'm talking about the real Rebbe Elchonon Wasserman, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Levracha, in his Kovetz Shiurim in Kiddushin or Islam and Vav, asks that it says in Kiddushin and Vav Amid Beis that Pidyon Haben works if it's a matana amanas lahachzir. If you give a gift on a condition that it should be return. Wait a sec. T.O. coach. If Pidyon Haben is Priyas Chov, have you ever heard of a Priyas Chov working as a matana amanas lahachzir? A man borrows from his friend $5,000, and the due date is the 16th of June. And 16th of June, he gives him the money, and he says, Amanas lahachzir. On condition that you return back the money to me after I return the money that I borrowed. Es arbeit nicht. Doesn't. These games don't go. So if it's Priyas Chov, how does Pidyon Haben work with the Matanas L'Achzir? Priyas Chov Matanas L'Achzir doesn't work. So how does Pidyon Haben Yes work? So it must be that it's not a Priyas Chov. The only way it can work as a Matana Maslahachs by Priyas Chov is if the Malve is Moichel. Comes back to the Malve, he says, here's $5,000, I'm an Aslahachs. So Malve says, Vakasha, I'm Mochel and the Chov. Ich bin Moichel Toivus, like they say in the shtetl. So if he's Mochel, Beseder. But sweet friends, we have to remember that by Pidyon Haben, Mechila doesn't work. The coin can't be Mochel and say, yeah, it's Beseder, I'm Mochel, don't give me the 5 slime. There's no Mechila. So it can't be Priyas Chov, because if it's Priyas Chov, then it doesn't work on Matanas L'Achzir, because Matanas L'Achzir only works with the Malv if he's Mochel. And by Pidyon Haben, Mechila doesn't work. In the Sefer Tiferes Tzion of Hagoin, Rav Rifkin, very, very Choshev Rav, if I'm not mistaken, in St. Louis. In Simin Yud Ches, he was a Chabadnik, very big Talmid Chacham. In He'ara number 7, he asks that we find in Halacha that Pidyon Haben has to be bekesef or b'shava kesef, v'davar ha'metaltel v'digufay mamon. It has to be something that's movable, and that itself is worth money, and that comes to be memayet la'afuke karkos, which is not metaltel, and shtaris, which is not gufay mamon. Chayra, if the gather of Pidyon Haben is piron, it's priyas chov, it's repaying a debt, that he owes a debt to the Kohen, the Torah made this debt, so then we're in Shrabel. Because why does a debt have to be Davra Metaltel V'Gufo Mammon? It's a regular debt that he just owes the Kohen. The Torah says you owe the Kohen 5 slime to redeem your son that way. Then why would we say it's only Davra Metaltel V'Gufo Mammon? A pel of a hafle. So the Ktso says that it's muchach from Tosfos, that since Legabe Pidyon Haben, we require Smichus Das HaKohen, so it's muchach that it's not just Priyas Chov, that there's a mitzvah of Nesina. And if it's a mitzvah of Nesina, and it's not just Priyas Chov, then you're not Yotze the Din Nesina, but Nesina Baal Korcho. And that's why you need Smichus Das of the Kohen. Because Nesina Baal Korcho doesn't work, you need Smichus Das of the Kohen. And it's not a Piron Chov. So if it's a mitzvah of Nesina, then we'll understand why Mechila doesn't work by Pidyon Haben. Because it's a mitzvah of Nesina. If it was just a Piron Chov, so let him be Mochel. But by Pidyon Haben you can't be Mochel, because it's a mitzvah of Nesina. And al yidei mechila, you're not makayim the mitzvah of nesina. Just the piron chov v'vakasha. But it's a mitzvah of nesina. There can't be mechila. He has to actually give it. And if we understand that way, that it's a mitzvah of nesina, then we understand why it's davar metalta b'gufo mammon. Because it has to be, there's a special din here. It's not just piron chov. Piron chov, what does it have to be davar metalta b'gufo mammon? Whatever you give him. But if it's in the mitzvah of Nesina, then there's special tanaim. What exactly you're allowed to give, what you're not allowed to give. It's Gzeres HaKosav. Davar metalta v'gufo mammon, as the Gemara learns. And we also understand why in a Tanam and Aslahachzir work. If it's Piron Chov doesn't work in a Tanam Aslahachzir. But this Nesina, you did the Nesina, now you get it back. You did a Nesina Gemura, and then he gives it back to you, so we understand how that works. Then we run into a little bit of trouble, because we have the Sugya and Kedushin and of Chavtes. In Kedushin and of Chavtes says, What's the din if a person has his son to be pod or himself to be pod? Who comes first? So Tanakama says first him and then his son. Yehuda says no, his son comes first because it's the mitzvah on the father. So if it's me or my son, so who has to be pod to me? My father. And I have to be pod to my son. So if it's either me or my son, I got to do my son because me is my father's mitzvah. My son is my mitzvah. I have to do myself first. Okay, I do my son first. That's Rabbi Yehuda. So comes Rabbi Yirmiyah, and he says everybody agrees that if a guy only has 5 slime, he's for his son. Why? Because mitzvah de gufei adifa. Ki pligi, where a person has 5 slime mishua bodim, and 5 slime b'nei chorim. In other words, 5 slime that he sold something before his son was born, and this is meshubah to his pigeon, and not to the pigeon of his son. And then he has 5 slime that are b'nei chorin, 5 slime that are free, that he has liquid, as they call today. So Yehuda holds the milveh the chsiv b'Torah ksu b'shtar damya. Yehuda holds that a obligation that the Torah writes out, Torah is mechayiv like Pidyon Haben. It's like it's written in the shtar, and therefore, with these 5 that he has liquid, he should redeem his son. And then the Kohen can go and take the Meshua Badim for the pigeon of himself. In other words, for the pigeon of the father. He takes the 5 slime that he has free and he redeems his son. And then the Kohen can come and take the 5 slime for pigeon atzmo. Because these 5 slime that he sold before were meshubed to this chov of Pidyon atzmo. And the rabbis hold no. That milveh d'chsiv b'oraisa lav kichsuv b'shtar damya. A milveh written in the Torah is not like it's written in a shtar. And therefore one cannot collect from the chasim meshua badim. So it emerges then that if he's poda his son from the Bnei Chorim, he cannot be poda himself with the Meshua Badim, because it's not Kichsuvi B'shtar. And therefore, mitzvah de gufei odif. So you see from the whole mahalach of the sugya that we're talking about a shibud here. There's a lien on his property. So is it written? Is this milveh kichsuva b'shtar, not kichsuva b'shtar? So that's the din v'dvarim bein Takana and Kanakam Rabbi Yehuda. But we're definitely talking about a lien on somebody's property, an obligation that he has to pay. This is like a milveh. So if it's a matana, so what chov and shibud does he have on his property for stama matana? If it's a piron chov, so that I understand the discussion. But if it's a matana, what shibud on the property do you have for a matana? Matana is when it's a chov that a person has. It's like a milveh. The Gemara compares it to a milveh. So you see from here that it's like a chov. So again, we're going back and forth. We have rise this way and rise that way. We said we can answer a few questions if you say that it's a matana. We understand why you need smichus das. We understand why it has to be a davra metalta v'gufo mamon. We understand why matanas lahachzir works, but then how do you harmonize the Gemara and Kedushin with this? That the Gemara and Kedushin seems to say that it's a piron chov, and therefore there's a shibud nechasim. Not only that, we have a stark akasha from the fact that if you say that the geder of Pidyon Haben is in Sina, we paskin that if you have a suffix, if you're chayiv in Pidyon Haben, the din is hamotzi mechaver all of haraya. The Kohen has to prove that you're chayiv, and the father is potter. Now, if it's a mitzvah of Nesina, there's a mitzvah, you have to do the mitzvah l'chumrah, suffix deraisa l'chumrah. But if it's a piron chov, hamotzi mechaver all of haraya. So motzmei chaver olav haraya works gewaldig with the mahalach that it's piron chov. But if you say that it's a mitzvahs nesina, then how do you understand a motzmei chaver olav haraya? You have to be machmir misafik. That's what Rebbe Elchonon says again in the Kovet Shiurim in Oslam Vav, Ayin Sham. This is all spoken out beautifully in the Sefer Meitau of Rav Kalmanson from New Haven, Connecticut. If you ever go there, I'd suggest you go to his Shiurim. Very good. Or I think this is his brother. This is Rav Kalmanson from Connecticut. I think this is his brother in France. He's a brother in France. I think they're twins. Two Gaonim, Chabad Gaonim from I don't know, I guess from Lubavitch, it's a town in Russia. Now we get back to Russian. I said at the beginning a Russian word, it works beautifully. The Mefarshim also ask, there's a beautiful simon on this in the Masis Moshe, in Simon Nuntes or Moshe Chavroni. Maybe we'll give that over in a shir, we hope. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us the koach and the moach of Chavroni's shir, mar gur gishmak. Moshe Chavroni, the Masis Moshe, like his 16 chalokim. So gewaldig. So we paskin in Bechoros, Daf Mem Tesam and Aleph, that if the son dies after 30 days, the father has to give the 5 sloim to the Kohen, the Achar Misa. So for Rav Chavroni, wait a second. If it's a mitzvah nesina, what mitzvah nesina do you have? You have a mitzvah nesina to be po to this child, but the child is gone. So what mitzvah is there? There's no more child to do the mitzvah with. How can you say it's a mitzvah nesina? If you say it's a piron chov, then I understand. He was chayiv at the 30-day mark, and now his son died, but he's chayiv. There's a chov here. He has to pay. The Gemara passes he has to pay. So the mashmos would then be that it's a piron chov. So again, we have both ways. If it's a piron chov, then we understand why he has to pay, even if the son died after 30 days, if he hasn't done the Pidyon Haben yet. And we understand the sugya in Kedushin, which is mashma that it's a piron chov. But then we're troubled by the other sugyas. We're troubled why, if it's a piron chov, why do you need smichus das? Piron chov is even bal korcho. What do you need smichus das for? Of the Kohen. If it's piron chov, then what do you need davar metal to v'gufo mammon? If it's piron chov, then how does matana nas la'achzi work? So that would all imply that it's a matana, it's a nesina. So what are we going to do? So I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do, my friends. We're going to continue Mitzvah Shem the next time, and then hopefully the next time we're going to come to some sort of resolution, we hope. And we have a lot more. I'm saying, is it ever resolved? What does the Ramban say? The Ramban says in his Akdama to Shas that Ein Talmudenu kechochmas hatishboiris v'hatchuna erich is lashon she'ein moifis choitech. We have no absolute proofs in Gemara. You can always go this way, you can go that way. You can always ding. You have a svar here, you have a svar there, you have a raya from here, you have a raya from there. So it never ends. It's just a constant process of building and growing and learning more and understanding more and seeing it from this perspective and that perspective. It's not like math. Math 3 plus 3 is 6. Ein al mal daber chaval azman. Not chaval zman. A man in Hebrew chaval zman means that was awesome. But in the olden days, chaval zman meant that it's a waste of time. It's literally what it means. So, not literally what it means, but that's what the expression means. The idiom, what you want to call it. So, 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. That's absolute. But in Gemara, it doesn't work that way. So we have a lot of ways to go and a lot to learn. And we should be zochetaka lilmod ulalame lishmor v'laser l'kaim is called divrei sam torah so they have and b'li neder. Hashem should give us the koach and the moach and the financial means amir Hashem to continue these shiurim. The simcha b'tuv levav meirov kol. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.